up, guys? It's your boy Josh Showtime, along with my man's 100 grand, Josh Valles. This is Showtime's Fight Forum. We talk all things fights. Now, today, first, actually, let's both give a shout out to our viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in to our last show. It's been a while since we dropped, and you guys showed out. We had 1,200 views in one day. Which is a record for both of us while we've been doing this thing. So just want to say thank you. Just fill them comments up though. Like that's one thing we also want to do as well. Fill the comments up and make sure you follow us on Twitter at Josh's Fight Forum as well. Where we still once again we discuss all things fights, and we need to start this is on me. We need to start doing like our thoughts per round too, just like all the other big wigs do. Might have to determine who's going to do what because we might have opposing views on rounds and stuff like that, but. We are definitely going to do a recap of one. Do you want to do the fight card or like bring up a fight in the card that you cared about, or do you want to just go straight into the nitty gritty of the Canelo and Berlanga fight?
Well, one, yes, thank you to all of our fans for adding the views. Appreciate you there. I mean, to me, the only fights that really stood out to me were the Caleb Plant fight and obviously the Canelo fight. I did really enjoy the Danny Garcia fight, not because of what happened to Danny Garcia. That's one of my personal favorite fighters, but it was good to see Danny Garcia back in the ring going for gold again. But those are the two big fights that really stood out to me as a true action-packed fight.
My dog is like literally like clawing me right now, and I don't know why. You're such an attention seeker. Anyways, which one be on camera? Hold on. Let's go ahead. Maybe this might get us some views. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, say hey, Juice. Hey, Juice. She looks like a little mini crackhead right now because she got shaved. But yeah, go ahead. Now, you want to get off? Now get off. Bye-bye. Yeah, so I'm surprised you didn't want to say anything about Steve Fulton. A lot of people had a lot of opinions about that, about his split decision win. Got hurt, got rocked. He came out, he finished strong, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the performance that he wanted, I'm sure, especially still after coming off that Inoue fight where he got embarrassed. There's no other way to put it. Caleb Plant fight. I love Caleb Plant. Like, no joke. If there's like a boxer that you just can't help but to like, I feel like Caleb Plant got to be on top of most people's list because he talks so much trash, but he's about every single thing he says. Like, he will call you a pussy and he will literally try in his power to show you that you are a pussy, and he does not care. Like, I respect it. And I mean, we know he has the most fights outside of the ring as he do inside of the ring. He doesn't no problem stepping up to people. Like I said, a real dude, man. I respect it. He knows he's a white boy that's in not gonna say a black man sport, but in America, it's predominantly ran by black dudes, and he doesn't back down from them. And he doesn't back down for any foreigners, anybody else. They'll just say, all right, well, I'm gonna show you. You think because I'm sweet, I'm gonna show you these hands are, and he does. So respect to him. I don't know how I felt about the knockdown. It was a weird knockdown from at least the angles I saw. It was like, okay, it didn't seem like he was really hurt, but to come back and get the stoppage, especially from a guy who we don't really get too many stoppages from, especially like in the middle of his career, wasn't really known as a guy that could put you out. But to be able to do that to Darrell and then also to come back with another TKO, hey man, like I'm loving what I'm seeing from Caleb.
Yeah, well, let me start by saying Stephen Fulton is one of the best boxers in the game today, definitely in his weight class. So for me, I think it was just, to your point, an off night, but I think he obviously won, got the split, and rightfully deserved. Now, Caleb Plant is the realest guy in boxing, okay? Really? Caleb Plant is the biggest, I don't want to say thug, but he's a gangster.
No, he is.
Plant is a gangster. He's smacking Charlo. He's getting people jumped at boxing fights. Not even in there. I tweeted about this. He is the realest guy in boxing. And yes,
Romo Canelo, let's not forget that. Granted, he missed.
Oh, he smacked Canelo. I mean, but here's the thing. I let that one slide because that was in the moment. They were about to fight each other. We're talking about like things that have nothing to do with any. He's just getting
it's Twitter talk.
He is the type of guy where like if I have beef with Caleb Plant, I know there's a hit on me. So I got to watch everywhere I go. 100%. He is the realest man in boxing. So I loved what I've been seeing from him, and yeah, he definitely walks the walk, talks the talk, and he does it in a fashion that is like, whoa, I don't really want to mess with you, bro.
Yeah, 100%, man. I like I said, I love to watch him fight, but I don't know. I actually think I might like him better outside in boxing than I do inside. And it's messed up to say, but he's just entertaining. And I love the fact that he doesn't mess with the talk. And that's honestly what we need in this generation is that people who don't care to just do talk. I want to just talk to you, bro. If you want to talk about that tough guy stuff, I'm gonna find you. And then when you do, keep the same energy. I respect that. Like, absolutely 100%. If you're gonna talk tough online, make sure you keep that same energy. He makes sure you keep that same energy, and you're gonna find out. He don't care about getting sued, going to jail, none of that stuff. So, I mean, for a person that's in the hurt business, I respect that 100%.
Yeah,
But
I respect it too. And like I said, when he gets in that ring, like he did against Trevor McCumbee here, I mean, he fought. He was getting whooped in the beginning. Let's be honest. Like I thought this fight. I'll be honest. I love Caleb Plant. This fight was looking to get stopped within the first 4 rounds. Turn that swagger that he's been having on for the rest of the fight, and he got the stoppage. Like I would say that last half of the fight is who I envision Caleb Plant is. Just a straight gangster that will come to you with combinations and get you out of there. And
but it goes into his personality. He's a dog, man. Like he does not back down. And I mean, that's kind of, I mean, it matters in boxing. Your toughness matters more than almost anything. Your mental toughness, your actual physical toughness, those are keys to a successful boxer. You will not find an all-time great fighter that doesn't have both. All right, you have to have it. And obviously, Caleb is not an all-time great, but he is a great boxer. And the reason why is he's just so tough, like mentally. You can't break him. I mean, you can go off to the Benavidez fight. He should have got stopped, but his toughness is what got him throughout the entire fight. So, I mean, hats out to him. Shout out to him. The Lara fight, I mean, Lara picked him apart, beat him up, made it look bad. And respect to Danny's pops for calling it quits. I think, I know you say you a fan. I'm a fan of Danny Garcia as well. However, the game has passed him. He's not Danny Garcia anymore. He is a shell. I'd rather him retire. Do what you want to do outside of this whole boxing ish. But the game has passed you. This isn't a game where you need to stay too long. You're just going to keep getting beat up.
I would like to see him have a retirement fight. And
You and these retirement fights.
hey, man, I think that he deserves it, right? I think that, he already tried to be great, and we already discussed, he already said this himself, took a 2-year layoff, jumped up a weight class to go for a world title, didn't even take a tune-up. So to see what his weight or power would transition to that higher weight class. So he had his dare to be great moment at the end of his career, which all great athletes have, all great boxers have. And so here, I think that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's one of the greatest welterweights we've ever had. At 140, 135, we're talking prime Danny Garcia. I think is one of the top 10. I think he's a first ballot.
10.
I think he's one of the best Puerto Rican fighters ever.
I'm about to say, is that your Puerto Rican coming out? Because I don't know if I agree.
Now,
Top 10?
because of that, I think that he deserves a retirement fight. I think that if they want to call it a cherry pick, they can call it a cherry pick. But other than maybe Andre Ward, I think every big time boxer has had that one fight that they left out on top, or at least some of them. Most of them have, some have not, which is always surprising.
Ali.
I think Danny deserves a retirement fight. Pick a guy outside of the top 10. Give something for the fans to give you one more cheer. Have it in Philadelphia and see where it goes. But much props to him for trying to get through this fight as best as he could, going for a world title after 2 years off.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, the one thing about boxing that's amazing is that, they're pretty much independent contractors. Yes, the promoter, books their fights and things like that. However, the promoter works for the fighter as well, as much as the fighter works for the promoter. So, like, it works two ways. So, you can always plan, like you said, a retirement fight if that's what you want to do. And I'm with you as far as, if you're going to do it, have it in Philly, do it at Wells Fargo Arena or Center or whatever you call it. And then just go ahead and have a going away showing with your peoples. Like, I'm with that. Like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with any boxer doing that. It's not a big deal.
Floyd dang near did that with
Andre Berto.
But the thing about Andre Berto is, Andre Berto's a good fighter, so like he kind of fought him in the prime. But it is Floyd.
But I'm about to say, but that shows you how great Floyd is because it was a retirement fight because everybody knew how that fight was ending.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't really. I respect Andre Berto, but at that time, I didn't really know much about him. I knew he was champion. I knew he,
Went to war with Victor Ortiz and all that stuff.
fighter. But I was just like Andre Berto. But even now, even Floyd now, with all these exhibitions, you could dang near call those retirement exhibitions, right?
No, like a retirement tour.
Yeah, retirement tour. So I mean, I just feel like a guy like DSG definitely deserves that type of respect. He's given so much to the sport of boxing, and he has the
Like Manny's trying to do that. That's what Manny's trying to do because you keep hearing Manny's trying to come back. I'm like, brother, you're almost 50. Like you got to be trying to get a retirement fight.
Yeah, I mean, who did this? Why am I drawing blank? Hopkins. Fighting till he's 50. Everybody wants to do it now.
Well, he won a world championship at like 45, so I kind of get him.
Yeah. And Pacquiao, his last fight wasn't looking too good. So
yeah.
I mean, I think me personally, I think every big fighter should have a retirement fight. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I feel like someone like Danny definitely should. I do think he has a little bit in the tank to go out on a good note. I really do.
I agree with you on that part, but I didn't realize how big of a Danny fan. Then I realized you Puerto Rican, so like, hey, Puerto Ricans got to stick together. I respect it.
Hey, even if I wasn't a Danny fan or a Puerto Rican guy, I'm just saying, just looking at Danny Garcia fight, he's knocked out and has beat some really
Danny's like that. Honestly, like my big claim to fame, at least
he has ducked nobody.
When he knocked out Amir Khan, that's when I was like, oh, Danny for real. But
knocked out Amir Khan. I mean, the list goes on, right? Beat Zach Judah, beat a Winky, right? So I mean,
no. Listen. I'm with you as far as like he is a great fighter. I don't know about first ballot, but he will be a Hall of Famer. He deserves that for sure. I'm with you. But we have to talk, since we talk about Hall of Famers, we have to talk about a definite first ballot Hall of Famer. One of, if not the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. The person who we were all watching. And I love the contrast between boxing and UFC. It's already noted. I'm more of an MMA guy than I am boxing. That's the sport I fell in love with first. However, they both clashed. UFC did the freaking craziest. Did you see the screen, the teleprompter, all that stuff? Did you see that atmosphere? I can't hear you.
Yeah, no, I was saying, yeah, definitely saw
What did you think about that? Because we talked about it.
It's good. I think that if you're gonna pay this much money to get a seat to see a fight in a ring that is the size of my studio, yeah, I think that to have a little extra on the sphere, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought that was different.
And I thought it was cool too, and I thought that it's amazing to show what you can do inside that sphere. And I mean, the visuals were some of the most crazy. It was some of the most beautiful visuals I've seen. And shout out to the Mexicans that they obviously did it in the honor of, and having the 6 chapter stories that they showed. But it just makes me think of like what you could do with amazing production. I'm a production guy. We both obviously were in the digital media program. That's how we met. So we also have a thing for production. And just to see that, it was just it was phenomenal to see. I was happy. I would never spend $3,000. However, if it, like 500, you got me. I'm in there, like somewhere. But yeah, that was really, really cool. But to show Canelo's Canelo, he still sold out, even though, there was a mega, world-breaking thing that the UFC was doing. He still sold out, 20,000 people that was there to fight Edgar Berlanga, the guy that really nobody had any faith in. And it was, I'll give my take first, then you can go ahead and give yours. It was a fight that wasn't, in my opinion, competitive. You knew who was winning. Obviously, I will say I respect Edgar for being able to get up from the canvas. That was a clean shot. It looked bad, but it seemed like it was a flash knockout. He literally got back up. It was getting real dirty and personal in there as well. It seemed like at one point Canelo kind of tried to sun him in a way. Like I remember they'll tie up, and then like legit Canelo will still just straight go to his body. And it was like, I'm like, bro, you're not supposed to do that. You're just doing that to piss him off. And then he'll just do little nitpicky things to try to get on Edgar's nerves. And he was feeding into it, talking junk back, showboat. And I'm like, brother, you're losing this fight. What are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? But Canelo, to me, I felt like once, and it's kind of the same thing he did when he fought Munguia, which is one of those, he got the drop. And once he got that, it was like, all right, well, I did my part. I'm not going to coast, because I don't want to say he coast, because Canelo was aggressive throughout the entire fight. However, I'm not really pressing the action to get this stoppage. I'm going to let the fight come to me, and I'm going to be patient, which means I'm going to let this be a decision. What did you think of the fight?
I think your analysis is completely off. Because
Okay.
this was not, to me, this was a competitive fight.
What?
Even though you're right to an extent, actually not to an extent, you're right 100% on this. Canelo was controlling the rounds, right? We can definitely say each round was for Canelo. I'm happy to give Berlanga 2 to 3 rounds, okay? So overall, you may say, wow, okay, 2 to 3 rounds for one opponent, and you think it's competitive? Yeah, I actually do. Because you know what fight against Canelo wasn't competitive? The Charlo fight. And if you're telling me that Canelo versus Charlo was competitive and Berlanga versus Canelo was not, you are out of your mind. That's your blackness coming out of you. You want to talk about Puerto Rico black fighters and just like that competitive? Because that you want to talk about laying an egg. Charlo laid an egg. Berlanga, even after the knockdown, yes. Do I think that Canelo probably could have pressed a little bit more? Maybe. But you know why Canelo didn't press a little bit more? Because look at Canelo's face. Berlanga was landing shots. He was competitive throughout the whole fight, and he stood on his 2 feet, throughout the entire fight. After that 3rd round, you got to give him respect. That was a competitive fight, regardless of if Canelo was more in control or not.
All right, so listen, if we're going to have the parameter be Charlo, then okay, cool. No, obviously that's not, but I'm not leaving that. I'm not putting that as the parameter of a domination. That fight was different because Charlo did nothing. Literally, he was there for a check and he didn't throw punches. I'm not giving you that because at the end of the day, Charlo didn't want that fight. Edgar wanted that fight. He quote unquote brought the fight to him. Granted, yes, the fight was, in my opinion, it was entertaining. It wasn't boring at all. Like, Edgar was throwing back, so I will give you that. So once again, I will give you those things. He didn't punk out, but I'm tired of hearing these, oh, such and such is better than I thought. No, it's not. It's not. Berlanga is better than we thought, or Munguia is better than we thought. We knew these dudes was gonna lose. We knew that. It wasn't close. What was shocking was Bivol. We said, oh, Bivol is 10 times better than what we thought. Because we said the same thing about Bivol that we said about Munguia. Same thing we said about Edgar Berlanga. We said Canelo's going to be able to stop him. He can't take Canelo's power. Canelo's going to knock him out. And what did he do? He put them paws on Canelo. The entire fight. Canelo maybe won 3 rounds. That to me is like the definition of competitive. Well, not competitive because he beat the hell out of him. However, but that's stepping into the occasion, beating him up. But at the end of the day, even that version, even if it wasn't as one-sided and Bivol was taking all those rounds, even if it was a little closer but Bivol still won, that to me is still, once again, it's competitive, close. The fight wasn't close. We knew who won. That to me is not that competitive. I'm like, oh, who won? Oh, Canelo. I don't have to think about it, Canelo. That's not competitive. I know who won.
Right, but if a football score was 20-10, you would say, they didn't put up that many points, but it was competitive because, they kept them within 20 points. We knew this team was going to win, but, they also was holding their own too. I would say if you're holding your own in a boxing match, it's competitive. Charlo was not holding his own. Munguia was trying to hold his own and getting his ass whooped. And Bivol took it to Canelo. So to your point, yes, I 100% agree. Tired of hearing these moral victories, right? This fighter's really good, so he gets to fight this person now because he did really good against Canelo. Scratch all that. This was just a competitive fight. I think this was just like, yes, I think we all think Berlanga did better than we expected, but I also think even if Canelo wanted to, he couldn't get him out of there because Berlanga was competitive, did his thing, and he himself put some paws on Canelo as well. It's just
Yeah, he did. He did.
felt like
But to me, he put pause on Canelo because Canelo did not respect him. Like, no joke. There's no way you could tell me throughout that fight that Canelo really respected him. Canelo had wasn't there a one joint where he got like a free shot off? Yeah, there was one time where Canelo literally stopped boxing in general. And then he turned his back on him. He turned his back on him like
to walk away, and Berlanga clocked.
And Berlanga clocked him. Bro, that is no respect. Like, you don't do that. Nobody's doing that to Deontay Wilder. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. If you really have a threat of somebody that's going to piece you up, you're not going to just. And it's crazy. That happened twice in one night. Marab did the same exact thing to Sean O'Malley. If you remember, he turned his back on. I don't know why that happened, but that was so disrespectful. But also, you keep going throughout the fight, keep watching the fight. Canelo did not respect him, hence why he got those paws put on him. And this is one note too. Bro, the size difference, like we already talked about it, about the like Edgar is bigger, but good lord, man, like it looked like two different weight classes when these dudes was fighting. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I did my research and I saw that Berlanga came in the 190s. So, I mean, to rehydrate 20 pounds overnight, impressive. But yeah, I mean, the size difference was there. But that's the thing with Canelo, and you mentioned this last show. Canelo's a small guy. So we're always going to see a big difference between him and whoever he fights. I think the only person he had a size like equalizer with was Floyd Mayweather. Other than that,
who's a 147 pounder, and mind you, doesn't cut to 147.
Uh-huh.
And mind you, Floyd didn't even cut the 147, and he's
that's what I'm saying. They were same height, same weight. It was looking great. But other than that, I don't think we've ever seen Canelo alongside somebody his size. So I don't think we'll ever see that. Maybe Cotto.
We will see it. We will see it. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. With that being said, yeah, I mean, the size difference was key. And I think that if I were Berlanga, I would do that. I would put as much weight on healthy.
Of course.
Going up against a Canelo, not only to hurt him, but to protect me. Because it's Canelo. So
100%.
Yeah, there was definitely a weight and size difference in there, for sure.
100%. And, at the end of the day, man, respect to Edgar. He put in his best, I felt like, effort at one point. I think that there was a part, it felt like, in the fight where, I don't want to say he wanted to quit, but it just seemed like he kind of was zoned out and he wanted to just make it. But I think the trash talking and I think the cheap shots that Canelo was doing, because they both was kind of doing it, but Canelo was also doing them as well. I think those kind of was riling him up and bringing that New York out of him and saying like, all right, bro, like I don't even care no more. Let's just go ahead and, start throwing back and trying to get some more respect. But it's hard, man. It's hard to get Canelo off you once he starts to get in rhythm and he just starts to walk you down. It starts to smother your shots. And even if you got the reach advantage, brother, he's right in your face. So like that reach don't go anywhere because he already backed you up against the corner. And he has really good head movement. He sets people up. Like one thing I like about Canelo's game is that he sets people up to force a shot out of him that he knows is coming. Like he'll play peekaboo, so he'll always have his hands up top, and then he'll try to you'll think that he's trying to fight in close and try to fight inside, and he knows that if he does that, most people are gonna go for an uppercut because at the end of the day he's 5'7", he's 5'6". Uppercut is always there. If a person is leaning into you with their head out, you wanna guard him. Get a little space, try to get that short shot, try to get an uppercut. It happens all the time. You look at his film, you watch people try it all the time. It never lands. He always knows it's coming because he forces it out of you. So guess what happens when you throw that uppercut? You leave yourself open for a counter. So and that's just one small example that he does where he sets people up by his style where people think, oh, this is open. Let me go for it. Oh, I want you to do that. I'm going to slip. And then I'm gonna throw, and I'm gonna counter, and then I'm gonna get my points because at the end I punch harder than you. He does small, slick stuff like that I just love to watch when it comes to Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't get to 62, 63 wins by not having any skill, not having any power, none of that. So, Canelo is as Hall of Fame as it gets, right? Like,
you don't have to have that conversation.
Yeah, we don't have to have that one. So. Yeah, I mean, I think all in all, look, Canelo came to knock out Berlanga, let's be honest. And that did not happen.
It did not happen. And now, hold on, when's the last knockout he's had? Are you on your laptop? When is his last knockout?
Munguia.
No, that's not a knockout. That was a decision.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he hasn't had a knockout in years. I think I want to say Kovalev, but I might be wrong off that.
Yeah, maybe. Wow, I thought he. Yeah, actually, you're right. Well, Caleb Plant was a.
Oh, Caleb Plant. There we go. Caleb
Yeah,
Plant was the last one, and that was 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
yeah, a while ago.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
about four.
sorry, fight fans. I'm usually good with my stats here, but
That's
yeah,
no
I guess
big deal.
it's been so long that I didn't even. I thought he whooped Mungia. That was a stoppage, but I guess not.
No, he's done the same thing the past, I think, 3 or 4 fights. He gets a knockdown in the first 6 rounds, and then he does nothing else like after that. It's kind of it's been repetitive. Now we already know who won. Congrats to Canelo. After then, all respects to him. Now the biggest thing is what is next for both fighters. I think the easier person to kind of figure out what's next for him is Edgar. You have obviously options of Caleb Plant, who's clearly looking for another big fight. You also have Munguia, which would be a fire fight, which would be crazy. But then you still got bigger Charlo that he can probably try to fight if that's possible. If Charlo's about to, if wants to get back into the ring. I mean, there's fights out there. So who would you want to see Munguia versus? I'm not Munguia. I'm sorry. Berlanga versus.
Well, you just said it, Mungia. I think that would be a really good fight for him, and I'll tell you why. It's not anything against Berlanga or not wanting to see the fight against Plant. I actually would rather like to see the Berlanga versus Plant fight personally. But what? Mungia is coming off a loss. Berlanga's coming off a loss. Caleb Plant is coming off a world title win. So why are we giving Caleb Plant his first defense against a opponent who's coming off of a loss? So I would love to see Caleb Plant defend his title one time and a Munguia Berlanga title eliminator fight so that they fight the winner of Caleb Plant. Or take the Charlo fight, which would also be a really good fight.
Yes, it would be. And I'm honestly, I think all those are good options. My thing is, too, you have to think about this strategically with Berlanga as well. Do you want to go right into another tough fight where you have the potential of losing? And if you lose this fight, it does hurt your career. Like losing to Canelo honestly elevates your career unless you get unless you're Charlo and you pull up a egg or you legit get knocked out in the first few rounds. But if you're competitive and you survive like Berlanga does, it's gonna always rise your stock. You're gonna get paid. But you don't want a Rolly situation where you lose and then you lose again, and then now we're questioning your skill, which is also going to affect your bank account and your reputation. So it's one of those, do you want to go into there, or do you want to take not an easier fight, but a lesser name, still get your skill up, because he has ways to improve. Realistically, out of all those names we said, he could lose to every single one of those guys. And we wouldn't even be surprised by it. So it's still one of those, do you want to slow roll himself back to being into the title picture, or he want to get right back in there?
If I were him, I'd try to get right back in there. Just because, to me, the pot is hot right now. Okay, even if I think that his pot is so hot, even if he did take a loss again to a Munguia, if it was a very good fight, it sets him up. Because right now, this division is looking pretty hot if you think about it.
No, it is. There's some names.
Yeah, there's some names here where a round robin doesn't sound too bad at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if Charlo fought Plant, Munguia fight Berlanga, and then the losers fight each other, and then the winners fight each other. Like, that's a pretty good setup that I like to see happen, or wouldn't mind seeing happen. And if Berlanga happens to take back-to-back losses, I think that this performance here and a good performance there afterwards would still put him in position to continue fighting. He'd probably just start getting into that George Kambosos sphere.
Yeah, exactly.
We know his name. He's a good fighter, but he's taking some losses against some real quality opponents. So we're unsure, but we still want to put him out there because he has proven that he can fight.
Yeah.
And I like George Kambosos. He's a competitive fighter. Any fight that George Kambosos has been in, he's
a gamer, for sure.
So it's no shade to Berlanga for saying that. I'm just saying, like, let's be honest, as a boxing purist and as an analyst like you and I are, there's just tiers, right? So
you don't want to be in the George Kambosos tier.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the George Kambosos tier, but it's not a horrible tier to be in.
It's not, but as a competitive fighter with an ego, you don't want to be there. So
no, you don't, because it's borderline journeyman.
Yes.
So so you don't want that. But I think Berlanga does not put himself in that, because I think that he gained so much skill from fighting Canelo that I really think that he will win a world title this year.
I
Or
would
not
like to
this
see
year,
it.
I'm sorry, within the next year or two.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Now the last thing we gotta talk about is Canelo. What is next for Canelo? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my take. It is what it is. This is what I believe, man. At the end of the day, for a person, it seems like Canelo is only interested in money fights now. It seems like he's only interested in selling out crowds, finding people who got a fan base, and where the money is. I don't know how this is gonna happen because Canelo and Turkish, whatever his name is, have been beefing. So I don't know how this is going to work. However, it should work, and it needs to work. Terence Crawford and Canelo needs to be next. Let's just cut the cards and let's do it. And this is the reason why. I personally think that Terence Crawford wants to be finished boxing. I think he wants to be done. I don't think that he wants to box another year and a half. I don't think he wants to fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think he wants to have more than 2 more fights. I think that he's pretty tapped out of boxing. And there's just been signs, things he said before the Errol Spence fight and even after the Errol Spence fight that makes me say he's not fighting that much longer. We're only getting a few more years of this guy. And Canelo's been, at one point, he kind of teased it when people brought it up. And he was like, I'll do it, this, that, and the third. Now he's just gung-ho saying, I want to fight Canelo. I am calling you out, Canelo. And it went from Canelo saying, bro, you're too small. I'm not interested, to, I mean, the money right. I'll think about it. And now it's starting to make me say even more. Yes, Terence Crawford struggled his last fight, but Canelo, in my opinion, you're going to disagree, but it is what it is. Canelo is he's not washed, but he's not in his prime no more. This is not the best version of Canelo anymore. And so I don't know in reality if these two fought. Am I 100% confident that Canelo's going to win? To be honest with you, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for saying that. I mean, a prime Canelo, in my humble opinion, gets Berlanga out of there, right?
Yes.
So and that's, again, no shame to Berlanga there, Puerto Rican guy, but I really think that. With that being said, yeah, I would love to see a Crawford-Canelo fight. I think that I just want to know what weight, man. What weight are we talking about here?
It has to be, in my opinion, and Canelo is not going to do this because Canelo's the A side. We have to, so Canelo has all the way, so it will be at 168. Like, he's going to say, you got to meet me where I'm at. Realistically, it should be at 160. That's where the fight should be.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, where's the cat? Like, I want to see Crawford, and I don't care what any boxer or even Crawford, I want to see a Crawford that's like a healthy 160-ish, right? Like, when Charlo fought Canelo, bro, he looked like he just ate a bunch of donuts, and he just looked like a fat version of himself. Like,
yeah.
He literally was like, I'm just not even train. I'm just going to go with my natural strength and just pack on as much weight, and I should be able to get through. I want to see, like you said, a catch weight, maybe like a 163, you know, where I know it's a lot maybe for both Canelo and Crawford, but I think Canelo is not losing as much weight as people think he is.
He's not. It's not even you think, brother. He's not. Canelo is not big, bro.
Yeah, so him losing that weight, I just feel like is easier than what people would suspect. And Crawford, I feel like him jumping up to 163 doesn't inflate him. And that's the word I'm looking for Charlo. Yeah. Charlo just looked inflated. It didn't, like Conor McGregor, when he fought Nate Diaz, I ain't gonna lie, he looked like he packed on the weight healthy and he looked good. He didn't look like inflated. Charlo, inflated. Crawford, I don't want to see that.
No, I'm 100% with you on that. And my thing is, like, people want to talk about, like, you know, size and weight difference. Brother, did you not watch Edgar Berlanga in the Canelo fight? They're not in the same weight. Like, yes, they're in the same weight class, but brother, there's no way you're going to tell me. I don't care if Canelo even weighed 190 that day. There's no way you're going to tell me Edgar and him are the same size. They're not. Edgar is clearly bigger than Canelo. And we all know Canelo just doesn't want to cut weight. He chooses that. That's his choice. If Canelo was let's say if Canelo was an average boxer, he wasn't who he was. He would not be fighting at 168 right now. He would be fighting possibly 154 would be a stretch, but he would be fighting 160 for sure. Like, no debate.
Yeah, of course. But it is what it is at this point. I would love to see the fight, but
Who
I
are
also
you
just want.
expecting then?
Who would I have in that?
Yeah. No, who are you expecting for Canelo? Like since
Oh, I mean, I think Canelo, like you said, calls the shots. So he keeps saying Bivol, 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 and we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But if he,
Canelo, bro, if he fights Bivol again, it might be worse.
I mean, it could be. I trust me. I don't want to see him do that. Although I do understand wanting to get your lick back.
I get it.
I get that, but I would love to see other fights. The reason why I don't want to see the Bivol fight as well is because if Canelo wins, there's probably gonna be a third one.
Yeah. My
So
thing is, obviously, we got to figure out what's going to happen with Bivol and Better BF. And let's be honest, if Better BF gets whooped by Bivol, like legit, he's probably going to beat the hell out of Canelo, and it's going to be bad. Like,
yeah, so we'll see. I would like to see Canelo Crawford. I wouldn't mind seeing Canelo Bivol, but I mean, I can't blame for Canelo wanting to fight that, get that fight again.
I don't. Hey, look, he's a competitor. I don't have no problem with it. I respect it. But at the end of the day, move on. Yeah, that's not your weight class. You're not even in your weight class now. So learn your cap. Light heavyweight is your cap, brother. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Move on. But that's all we have. Obviously, we went a lot over. But hey, we talking Canelo, so we gotta go over, man. This is the cash cow. But we want to appreciate you guys once again for looking at our last video, for liking for liking. But we just asked for this one. Join in the comments a little bit, man. We want to hear what you guys think about Canelo. What do you think about his performance? What grade would you give him? All right. And Edgar, did he impress you, or is it what you expected? We want to hear from you guys. Let us know. Make sure you follow us on social media as well. We're on. Go ahead and tell them where we're at, Josh.
We are on at Josh's Fight Forum on Twitter. So make sure you follow us. Join our mentions. We're debating all day, so bring it on.
Yes, we appreciate it as always, man. You can follow us on our personal social medias. That's right here below. But as always, man, make sure y'all stay blessed. Thank you for listening.